Good morning.
Any fresh injury worries after Wednesday night?
No, we didn't have any surprises there, and hopefully everybody will train well today and available for tomorrow.
Timber and William Saliba, of course, weren't part of that squad in midweek. Are they okay?
Yeah, they are okay. Obviously, they have played a lot of minutes. They've been carrying a few niggles, and it was a really good opportunity for us to offload them a little bit and refresh them.
The news that broke this morning, great news for you. Max Dowman signed a pre-contract agreement ahead of his first professional contract, and he'll be 17, make you feel old at the end of this year. But can you just put into words how happy you are and what message that sends from this football club?
Yeah, it's a proud moment to see him yesterday signing that deal in front of his family and his loved ones, and yeah, big credit to everybody that has been involved in that journey with him to bring him all the way to the first team, and especially in the manner that they've done it. And now we have an amazing talent that day by day I think we need to shape because it's so much there.
Okay, Miguel, can you just reflect on the past week, because I'm guessing you might have had to have lifted the players after Sunday. I know you've spoken about it pre the Cairo game. How much did Wednesday night help, though, just to dispel everything that happened last week?
Well, it's just understanding where you are. Certainly, when you lose a game, you have a lot of feelings, because especially this group of players are so competitive and they seek for excellence. And when you don't reach it, you ask yourself questions, and we did that. But I think my role there as well is to bring optimism and reality of where we are, and our club has a long history, and to find a moment where in February we are in the position that we are is very difficult to find. So guys, we are doing so many things so well, and let's focus mainly on that. And for sure we want to improve, we want to be better in every area, but with that sense as well of self-confidence and conviction that we are in the right path.
You said you needed to bring optimism and reality. Did anyone need to lift you?
No, in these moments, no. Normally I'm the opposite, and when we are doing so well, I'm there with the stick to say this is not good enough, this is not good enough. The other day, no, because I know how much they wanted, the amount of games and the demands that we put on those players every day. And those moments, they need to understand and feel that we are right behind them, that I'm mainly responsible for that. And that they keep playing with that freedom, with that enjoyment, as I discussed the other day, and make sure that journey is beautiful, because what is ahead is great, and everybody has to be part of that, but in a good sense and with good humor and with good optimism and looking forward to it.
Can I ask you about Martin Odegaard and his form? It's 1 goal and 3 assists. I know numbers can say one thing, performance is another. Is there any part of you that's concerned, and is there any part of you that is thinking about maybe to take him out of the firing line a little bit and rest him?
So those are the numbers, but we have to give the full numbers as well, that he's played much less minutes than any other season as well, because he's been 3 times injured. That's the reality. We want to improve that for sure. We want him affecting the game in the areas that we can win football matches, that's for sure. But if you know Martin, how he works every single day, I have no doubts that that will come.
After nearly a year, Kai Havertz made his first start.
Yeah.
Is he ready to go again and start against Leeds? Is he fit enough? Is he strong enough?
Yeah, he is ready. Obviously, he started the other day. Obviously, it's been a long period, and now we need to manage that load and the games that we're going to select for him to start. But it was no reaction to that. I think it was super positive. You could see straight away the impact that he can have in the team. So he is ready.
Just final one for me, just on Kai. How do you think he's going to help the other strikers in the team? Not only just for the load, but also to know that they've got that competition back again.
More than the competition, which I understand we have different characteristics with the nines, but as well Kai can play in different positions. And his main quality is that he makes you better. Somehow, the way he moves, communicates with this, gives you information, moves around, is a very difficult player to mark, and especially he opens up a lot of spaces for the rest of the players. So I think they're going to be very happy to have him around.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
From the Premier League.
Hi.
Just touching on that again, Kai Havertz and Yokos, they seem to have a connection. Immediately, Havertz turned in the middle of the pitch, got the assist, Yokos returned the favour, took the defender away for the Havertz goal. When you signed Gyökeres initially, did you have that in mind to have Havertz behind him and sort of in the left centre space? And how much do you think that will change your midfield? Because obviously someone will also have to come out. Is that something you're comfortable to do?
Yes. So, well, we knew when we signed Victor as well that Kai was going to be out for still a long period, and Gabi Jesus was nowhere near. So we hoped that this relationship was going to build in the right way, but we didn't know when. So the other night we saw a lot of positive things. Obviously, it will depend on the opponent and how they behave, what formation they use. But there are options that are obviously really, really positive to the team, whether he plays as a 9, as an attacking midfielder. And to have that combinations, whether it is at the start or throughout the game, I think it's something very good, and it can impact the game in a really powerful way.
You've spoken so highly of Norgard. You've mentioned another player, his ability to make everyone around him better on and off the pitch. You said his preparation's top tier. He said himself it's a big squad when everyone's talking about his minutes, and that will probably help towards this end of the season and everything you're competing for. When you're picking your match day squad and he's not in it, what is the thought process behind that? It's hard for who he's competing with.
At the moment, there are 2 or 3 players that have to be out of the squad.
Yeah.
That's our reality. I cannot change that. These are the rules. Hopefully, the Premier League next season, instead of 18 outfield players, it will do 20. I beg them from here, like it's in the Champions League, because it's much better to manage the squad, to maintain the value of the players, to maintain the mental health of the player, because nobody wants to get out of the squad. So I beg them that if we can, between all of us, help us on that. We can bring them. We can deal with hotels, travels, and all that. And that would be very, very helpful for everybody, because that's the worst thing when you need to leave somebody. But at the end, you have positions, players that can play in various positions, and you cannot overload certain positions and weaken some of them. So that's normally the process to make that decision, because it's never about, if it's about how he trains, how he behaves, how he talks, how he helps everybody, he needs to be in every minute of every game.
I love that. And finally, Brando Bailey-Joseph came on, had a debut, another 17-year-old. There's a lot of talk in the Premier League about youngsters promoting people from the academy, but I don't think people realise how big the jump actually is. In your management style, what are you looking for to separate a youngster who's actually ready?
Another 2 spots in the squad is great as well, so we can bring more young players, more solutions, more happiness there, the right moment. So that's something only is going to help. So hopefully we can do that, but it's great. At the end, they need to understand and especially feel that that door is open, you know, that the dream is possible, and they've been training with us now for a few days, and we find the right moments to do that. We need to get them that taste, and then we have to see how they behave in that environment. It's the only way to understand whether they can contribute to the team or not.
Thank you.
Alex from the BBC.
Hi, Miguel.
Hi.
There's been a lot of talk about how you don't have a clear scorer in the Premier League, but how important will the return of Ricardo Calafiori potentially be because of his unpredictability and to help unlocking those forwards?
Yeah, well, Ricky's been instrumental in the way, especially that we attack, and he has unique qualities to occupy spaces and to create things that probably the qualities of the other fullbacks are different. So when we need them, they will be there. Now he's fit, he's available, and we'll have to wait and see when we can use him.
Tom, Reach.
Miguel,
Hi.
congratulations on the Max agreement.
Thank you.
We heard previously that he suffered an injury similar to Mosquera, who's since returned to the squad.
Yeah.
So curious, what's the timeline with Max's return?
It was a little bit more than Mosquera's. Obviously, we need to be as well. He's growing, and we need to be very careful. We're a little bit more protective. It's true that he has a different schedule as well, because he needs to go to schools and that. So we need to respect a lot of things throughout that process. But I think he's quite close. He's on the pitch now. He's doing well, and hopefully we're going to be able to see him soon.
And Domesh asked about Martin earlier on as well, and his form at the moment. I noticed on the field that he drops quite deep sometimes to try and link the play and get the ball. You mentioned earlier how you want him to get into the positions that he's going to affect the game. When he does drop into those deeper roles, is that by design, or is that as a result of others not doing certain things and he needs to get into those areas?
It's a bit on his nature, and my nature is to go to the opposite side. But we need to respect as well the qualities and the talent of players, and within that they need to feel as well the freedom in attack, especially to do what they believe is best there.
Matt from the Standard.
Hi.
You've had a fair few academy players obviously come into the first team. Ethan made his debut really young too. Where does Max sort of rank in academy players you've seen
In terms of talent or?
Talent, mentality, all the things.
Yeah, well, certainly one of the best. I mean, what he's done with us at the age of 15, me personally, I haven't seen it before. Only with a guy that used to play in Barcelona, but maybe not even that. But yeah, he certainly has, not only that, he has a certain charisma as well and personality that he doesn't get overwhelmed, whether it's by the situation or the stadium or the opposition, and that's a huge quality to have.
And when you're sitting down with players like him and academy players trying to get them to sign a contract, how important are players sort of like Mikael as an example, as the pathway is there for them?
Well, the fact that obviously we have very good examples at the club, it is very helpful. Then it's down not only the player as well, but the family as well, because obviously they are in a crucial part of their education and their development, and we are very responsible of that. But it's been great. He's got a great family. The communication between us has been very, very productive over the years, and now I think they trust what we're going to do with him, and now it's down to him and us to build an amazing career with him.
Hi, Mikael. Just on the on-pitch relationships and connections, with how busy January has been, I mean, a game every 3 days, no midweek off, how much time have you actually had to figure out those new connections and work on them? Because, yeah, it just seems like there's been no time.
To figure it out a lot, to work very little, unfortunately, because we haven't had time, and obviously the availability of the players are crucial in relation to that. But yeah, constantly build that. Now we have some new ones as well with some of the players that in the last few weeks are being available, and learn quickly. The quicker that we learn, the better, because we will know what is more effective against certain opponents as well, and we'll be better.
And on that, with the first goal the other night, I think a word you've used quite often is like vertical in terms of when Arsenal playing well, and that seemed that they were very vertical. How pleasing was that, and would you like to see that type of football more?
Yeah, it depends what the game needs. You can be vertical when the opponent behaves in a certain way. When they have 10 players inside the box, you cannot be vertical. You can maybe shoot from the edge or create chaos in the box or do something different or generate set pieces. So if they want to defend there, make sure they defend there, but with 6-7 players inside the box. So depends on how the opposition behaves and the opportunities that you have in relation to space and time.
James, ESPN.
Okay, we talk a lot about the fine margins in the title race. I just wondered what your reaction was when City signed Galley and Semenyo this time.
That's business. I don't know. I know what they're going to do and what they've been doing over the last 10, 15 years. So obviously, no surprise. They want to win, and they will do everything to win.
I mean, they look like sort of win-now signings, you know, players who know the league. I just wondered, does it make you look at the last few days of the window any differently?
Not because of them, because if we have any issues, we need to be on top of that, but that's not a surprise. They did it as well last year, very aggressively when it was needed. And we have our ambitions, but as well we have our own restrictions, and we need to know that we have to do what we can to do and what we believe is the right thing to do.
And Pep's called Arsenal the best team in the world last week. He's also talked about how they have the sort of know-how to win the title, sort of implying there's a difference there between City and Arsenal. Do you think he's playing mind games with you a little bit?
With me?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Do you still sort of talk?
Yeah.
Even though you're two top players?
Yeah, I don't talk like with my wife every 3 days, but we talked and quite generally, and I think he talks about how he feels, and that's it. And if there are mind games, there are mind games, but I don't pay too much attention, because at the end you have to go on the pitch and deliver.
Because people would find it surprising that you can maintain that relationship and yet be rivals at the same time.
For me, the surprising thing will be not to, and I think it will be a really bad example for sports. And I think in the sport you have to learn, and probably the biggest lesson that the sport has given us is the relationship, for example, that Rafa Nadal and Roger Federer had. And I'm not at that level at all, but one of the best in the history, or the two best, one of the best sportsmen, the relation they have between them when they have to play final one against each other. So how the hell I'm not going to have a great relation with someone that I admire, I work with, and is a colleague, but the same with any other opponent. When it goes to the court or to the pitch, that's forgiven.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Harry, BBC Radio.
Hi, Mikael. You spoke quite a bit after last weekend's game about the need to enjoy the position that you're in as a group. It seems from the outside that there was a bit of a sort of psychological reset. Have you spoken at all about maybe a tactical reset? Is that something that you think is required?
Well, depending on the game, 3 days before Manchester United, no. In the first half an hour against Manchester United, no. The way we give the ball against Manchester United, big yes. So depending on the action, depending on the moment of the game, and the way we concede the 2 goals, big yes.
Okay, we do the last two in the AS Live. First, Abdia.
Good morning, Mikael.
Good morning.
Abdia from Ventures. One, Declan Rice about to make his 300th Premier League appearance tomorrow. How proud are you of him for reaching such a proud milestone?
Yeah, especially at the age that he's doing that. I don't know how many players they've done that so early. So that shows the consistency, the professionalism that he has, because to be able to play only at this level is just already a big thing, but as well the manner and the performances that he's put in throughout those 300 games.
And the second question is, only Arsenal and Chelsea have scored more set-piece goals than Leeds in the Premier League. How do you nullify that threat tomorrow?
Well, first of all, understanding what they do, conceding very little, that's the best way for sure. And if we do concede, just to defend with your lives and good organization to try to prevent that happening.
Phil from PA.
Just picking up on your relationship with Pep, do you think it sort of shows that maybe the times have changed? Because obviously back in the day, say, Arsenal obviously didn't have a very good relationship with Fergie, they were really at each other's sort of throats. Do you think that's just sort of a sign of the times now that there's maybe less rivalry in sport than once was?
I don't know, but I think that relationship was different. I know Pep since I was 15, and I lived 4.5 years with him every single day, you know, so it is different, but I'm sure that Pep had a great relationship as well with Enzo, which I'm very aware of, and they work and they can be rivals, because as well as the type of person that he had and the relationship that you build. But the same will happen with a player. I had players here, and then I have to play against Granit tomorrow, and I love Granit to bits, and if I have to play on the pitch, we go to war, because I know how he is as well. But outside that, if I can help you with anything, I'm there for sure.
Just picking up on something else you said earlier about having to expand the Premier League squads because it's affecting players' mental health if they're not selected. What did you mean by that? If you've been able to see that firsthand, that it's quite damaging if a player isn't selected?
Well, because we have a really unique job, which is we have the ability to transform somebody's life career, which is great, but as well, every week we have to tell somebody, tomorrow you don't do your job. You're not even allowed to travel with the team. So tell me a job that you do that. I cannot go to the kitchen tomorrow and say to 2 of the chefs, today you don't cook, just go there and see how they cook or go home. It's really tough. So someone that wants to feel part of that, he needs to be there, he needs to travel, he needs to be there, and he has to have the feeling that he has a chance. When you take that chance away, you have to leave that player because he feels that he's not good enough. Because at the end, your decision is clear. I choose another 20 players in front of you. And I think this is something avoidable. Why? Because the demands on games are bigger, so we need bigger squads. So it doesn't make a lot of sense to restrict that, in my opinion. So I think we need to expand that and give the possibility to allow everybody to be part of that. And then we can make the right choice in relation to the game, and then we can manage better the minutes, the psychological and emotional moment, and then how we want to change the game. And I think it's better for absolutely everybody. That's my opinion.